Okay, loves, today I have with me my amazing, beautiful cousin,
Arianna.
super excited for this video because not a lot of us are educated, even women and men, to be honest. This video is about breastfeeding. You know, we got important topics. She's a mom of 2 now. She's well educated on this topic, and she really wanted to spread her knowledge to educate us, loves watching, just more of the benefits, the good, and probably some negatives if there are of breastfeeding and what to do. And if if your mom's out there stressful, don't give up so quickly. So I'm super excited because I am expecting, and I do plan on breastfeeding myself. And she has her own channel. She has her own Instagram page, what she does with breastfeeding, like really motivational and inspiring. I love looking at it and reading it because I'm excited to breastfeed when I have my child. So I'm super excited that she's here. We're gonna get right to the point. We're gonna be talking a lot, and just make sure you got your notebook and pens ready because I'm super excited. I hope you are too. So before we talk about breastfeeding, first of all, I want to talk about you 2 beautiful kids, Clara and Josiah. I want to talk about that and how did you want to breastfeed, and how did you come up? Anyone educate you yourself or?
So my family has a huge history of cancer in all forms, but my biological grandmother on my mom's side actually passed away because breast cancer spread from her breast to her lungs.
Mm-hmm.
So that's very close in the genetic gene pool, and when you breastfeed, it reduces that risk of especially breast cancer and ovarian cancer, which is super common in women, more than you really think, honestly. So I was like, I'm so worried about them, I gotta reduce my risk, I gotta do it. I'm like, I'm gonna breastfeed. And then when I was pregnant with her, we didn't really have a lot of money, so I had to go to my local WIC office, and they give you coupons and they help you out with milk and stuff like that. But they educate you, and they were talking about breastfeeding because they're trying to push breastfeeding more and more into the world to help educate people and really get their babies' first start in life with the best that you can give them.
Because, with the Black community and what I see online, no one you don't see a lot of people who breastfeed. I know a majority of people, do the bottle, the formula and stuff. And I was educated to now really, and from what I see in my friends that I have that have kids, I'm not sure they probably breastfeeded, but not for long. But the thing is, ignorance out there, lack of knowledge. There's a lot that we don't know about breastfeeding. I feel like if we spread awareness how important it is to breastfeed, that makes mothers and fathers too, just keeps us educated, and we can continue to educate others, because I do see out there that I feel like this generation, this century right now, we're starting to talk about it more. But back then we didn't talk about it more because not
No, it was more so I think around maybe the 50s and 60s, I believe, don't quote me, I'm wrong. That is when they really started to introduce formula, and it was really only supposed to be a way to help mothers out who couldn't get their babies to latch and who couldn't produce, because there's actually a percentage of women who just don't produce. So that was the whole point to breastfeeding, and then they just kind of steamrolled it with formula, and they're like, this is better, your baby's not full, here's formula. Now, I'm not anti-formula, but for me and my kids, I'm going to give them whatever I think is best, which in my case is breastfeeding, breast milk. Josiah only gets breast milk. She had formula and breast milk, and she was like that from the day she was born. And it worked for her. Let that go. So, let it go, please. So, breast milk, it's for human people, it's for human babies made by human moms. When you use formula, there's cow's milk. It's cow milk based, and they have goat milk and soy milk for babies who are allergic to it. Josiah here, he is very allergic to dairy. I can't drink milk. I cannot eat a cheese stick without him turning red and possibly throwing up. So, because at first we had formula for him, I always keep it as emergency, because what if, you never know, there's a situation where, what if I can't get her or him his milk? Does it make sense to not have a backup on hand? Because you never know what life is going to throw at you. So my poor son would get formula sometimes in the beginning, not knowing that he was allergic to it. And I just thought he just didn't like the way it tasted, and he just kept spitting it out. And then eventually I figured it out, thanks to the other moms in my mom group, who told me, hey, cut out dairy, see what happens. And it was like night and day for him. Like he wasn't drawn
That's
up,
good.
like,
Yeah.
he just got so much better. So that's how sensitive his dairy allergy is.
Yeah. So
It's
before we go on, I just want to say, if you're a mom out there, whatever you do formula or breastfeed. We're not, like we said, we're not anti-formula at all. We just want to educate those who are not aware of the benefits of breastfeeding. Just educate them more. Whatever you choose to do, just make sure that you're happy and make sure that your kid, is healthy and happy as well. So any decision, make sure, just go with it. Don't feel forced or nothing. So we just want to educate you on the importance of breastfeeding. Whatever you do choose to do, that's your life. Just as long as you're happy, we're all for it. Just want you guys to know that before we go on, right? Just we're all for it, But when you were growing up, did your mom, did she breastfeed you? Or?
She did. She told me that she did breastfeed my brother and I, but she did not breastfeed nearly as long as I breastfed her. And I don't think it was exclusively as I breastfed him. So, which is actually really cool about my mom is she got one of my aunts to breastfeed, to start breastfeeding. Until she met my mom, she didn't even really know anything. She didn't know anything about breastfeeding. My aunt is also black. So when I have people in my family tell me stories like that, it really hits home. It makes me just really proud that I do breastfeed and that I'm such an advocate for it. And it makes me really proud of my mom for pushing to teach that knowledge too, and especially because my mom is more conservative. She'd be like, cover up. And she's like, well, when are you gonna stop breastfeeding? She'd always ask me with her, because she's like 15 months and she's still drinking breast milk from the tap, which is what I say. I'm like, pop from the tap.
Yeah, but I feel like, a lot of people do that, but I feel like once we do get more educated and we see, like, the extended breastfeeding that we talk about later, because a lot of people, I'm not saying they would judge, but, they're just unfamiliar, that's, like, awkward or strange to them, but I feel like once you, if you know someone, supportive and you understand, but did your fiance, that side of the family, did they breastfeed?
I don't really know on his side who breastfed and who didn't. Like, I could not tell you. And it's, like, kind of harder for me to ask those questions because it's a big language barrier. Because I don't really speak Spanish, and not all of them really speak English that well. So, and he's not going to be like, oh, hey, Thea, did you breastfeed?
Yes. Yeah, I'm not sure if my mother-in-law did. My mom told me that she breastfed. I don't know if she breastfed obviously, not me, but I don't know if she breastfed all of us, but I think she said she breastfed for like the first 6 months.
A lot of people stop at 6 months, but you should keep going.
Yeah. Yes. So before we go on to the extended breastfeeding, 'cause I'm super excited about that, but what are some of the health benefits of breastfeeding for the mom and the baby?
So we'll start with the mom, because that list is a lot shorter. So when I breastfeed, it reduces, like we talked about, my risk of cancer, breast cancer and ovarian cancer. But also, it helps your uterus go back down to its normal size after. Important that it gets back down that size, because then, like, it reduces, like, you can, it helps reduce the bleeding. And a lot of times, not like a lot of times, I don't want to scare you, but, like, anytime you have a baby, whether it's vaginal or C-section, you do have that risk of, like, hemorrhaging, because when they're in there, they're just, and basically, they're just, like, in a lot of blood outside, like, on the outside of the placenta. So when you breastfeed, it slows the bleeding down. It speeds up the healing. It brings your uterus back down to its original size, which is extremely important, especially if you had a C-section, because that whole uterus, you just got cut. Like, I had 2, so it helps with the healing, and it's so important. Because, it's a very important organ, and you think, like, oh, it's just my uterus, you don't need it. Like, it controls a lot.
Yeah. Yes.
A lot of things. So, which it's great. So with her, I never felt my uterus contracting back down. With him, it felt like I was going into labor all over again. With the fresh C-section stitches, I was like, what is this fresh hell that I am in right now?
Oh my gosh.
Which is so common, but I didn't know that. So, like, constantly learning. But it's good. So, and then too, with him, my C-section actually got infected and was, like, oozing pus. And I cleared it up with my own breast milk when I went in for my appointment.
That's good, yeah, because my mom was saying if you do have a C-section, it takes, like, a while to actually clear up. And not knowing that you breastfeeding is beneficial and it helps you. Like, breastfeeding is
up the healing.
Yeah, breastfeeding is more than just, milk coming out here. It's
sorry.
you're good.
He wants to play. He wants to touch everything,
Right.
buddy. Sorry.
Okay.
So, and then two, it does help you lose weight after you have your baby, because the baby's taking all the fatty acids in your body, all your omega-3s, taking all the fat it can get, which is like breast milk is fat and water, basically, because that's where all your nutrients are, and it's in your fat for them. So it does help you lose weight, but if you do get hungry and you are so thirsty, so you gotta drink a lot of water and you gotta eat. But my problem is like, I'm hungry, let me go eat like 6 tacos right now. So what the best thing to do is to like get something healthy and eat smaller portions and just eat more frequently. And then you'll lose that baby weight.
You hear that? You
like
hear that? So eat something healthy, smaller portions, you know? Because also it's about you feeling good also.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's really actually very, very important. So
Now for baby, when you breastfeed, your white blood cells actually go into the milk and goes into their body, so it boosts their immune system, and then they get their omega-3s, their fatty acids, which help their brain develop. So it does contribute to a smarter baby. Now they do have like omega-3s in formula. It's just this is
like it's like more natural, you know?
Yeah, and this is designed for your baby. Now you can breastfeed someone else's baby, and it's not gonna hurt them. You know, it's still breast milk, so it's really beneficial. But this is like when your baby eats from you, their saliva tells you like, hey, this is what I need. Hey, I don't need this anymore. So your milk is constantly changing to adjust to what your baby needs, which is amazing. So like one day your milk can be white, but if your baby has a cold, you might have some yellow milk, and it's just to help boost baby's immune system.
That is so weird. So yeah, that's kind of cool. That's like cool. Wow. That's actually amazing. That's actually really, really good that it does that. It benefits the mom and the baby, all in a really good way.
And like diaper rashes, ear infections, pink eye, puffy eyes, cradle crap, which is like when like basically it looks like they have like it's like a super dry scalp, and it's like flaky.
Oh yeah.
And itchy. It's very irritating. Of course he had that. She didn't have that problem. He had it, and it just now went away. Born with a head full of hair, and he ripped all his hair out because of it. That's so sad. I said ear infections, right?
Yeah, ear infections.
So you just put like a little drop in the opening of their ear.
Breast milk?
Yeah, just breast milk. Couple drops, and it'll start to clear it up.
That's really
like
cool.
just a couple drops. Even stuffy noses, cuts, burns, sunburns.
Wow. So what other things that you could use, like you just said, use breast milk for? So it's not only for them to.
It's not just for food. Like there's some people that actually make like cheese out of their breast milk. But I'm like, that's a lot, and I don't think my family would be happy.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, I made this. Hey,
this cheese is good. Where did you get it from? How'd you make it? You know, it's just there's a little bit of Tuesday here, a little bit of Wednesday.
So I'm like, that's so interesting. I don't think my family would go for it. Or I don't really have the patience to do that. But what I do is they get breast milk bags when they get like a rash. So he has eczema, which is like that real dry skin, and I didn't know that it's also a genetic, thank you honey, a genetic component to it. And of course, my side and my husband's side, they got some eczema.
Oh my, that's what I'm saying. Cause my man, he got eczema.
Thank you.
I was like, I swear, like he has allergies and eczema. I don't have none of that. It's like, I swear my baby would not let it come out.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I'm like, cause he's allergic to dogs. Like he can't really pet them. We have one, but it's like, oh my gosh. I hope for real, I hope my baby's allergic to nothing. Don't have no eczema.
Breastfeed.
If it does, I'll breastfeed too. But if it does, blame it on, it's cause of you, baby.
Yep.
Cause of you.
That's all their problems they get from me. Yeah, and I'm like,
Oh.
I'm so sorry
I'm
I
like-
did this to you.
Like, oh my god.
But it does, too, when you breastfeed, it does reduce the risk of having allergies, which is like insanely cool. And if you have a lot of allergy problems in your family, you should breastfeed.
And it reduces so much.
It even reduces type 1 diabetes. I think it was, what is it? For women, it reduces post-menopausal osteoporosis, which is basically your bones get weak. So there's so much too. And like soaking in breast milk, taking a breast milk bath, you don't like fill the whole tub up with breast milk. You can put like 6 ounces in there if you want and fill the whole tub up with water. That's okay. Can you rip it over there? Yeah, show me what you do, and I'll clean up your mess later. I should have brought more toys for her. So just put it in the bath. You soak in it, and it's gonna clear up a yeast infection and a UTI. If like me, well, like when you have a C-section, you can't soak in a bath. Just rub breast milk on there. It can clear up baby acne, adult acne.
That's what I'm saying. So she's saying all this stuff that can help with. I'm saying if you have any problem, irritation, or anything, I'll say whip it out, and just do some test trials on yourself.
You
know
do?
what
I
I'm
do.
saying?
Actually, I do.
Like for real.
My skin is like kind of
No, I got a bump
so
here.
just
Let me.
squeeze it. I do that.
You know. That's really cool. That's really awesome.
And then, so what I want to try, I haven't made it yet, but I do want to try and make like a body butter out of breast milk, just to see how that goes and to like help with my stretch marks
skin and
yeah,
stuff. Yeah.
fix me up. But he has breast milk lotion that I use on him for his eczema and his diaper rashes, and I use it on her too. My husband won't let me put it on him though. He's like, you do your breastfeeding thing, do it over there. I'm like, come on, like, let me help you. He's not for it. So I use it for like everything. My mom says I remind her of the dad on my big fat Greek wedding, who's always like Windex fixes everything. She's like, you think breast milk fixes everything? I'm like, it does.
Yes.
It does.
I feel like once you're in the boat and like you're so educated, you know so much, and plus you tried it yourself.
It's
You know
so
what I'm
easy
trying to
too.
say? Yeah.
It is so
It's like,
easy.
why go out and buy this when your breast milk could do it all, damn near? You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I have no problems with that. But is there any problems that you have with breastfeeding?
So, yeah, sir. So with her, I had what was called like a short nipple, which basically meant that my nipples weren't long enough for her to latch on by herself. So, which was so devastating, because I'm like, this is what my body's supposed to do. Like, yeah, your body's made to do this thing, but it doesn't mean it's easy.
Yeah.
Like, it might be natural, but it doesn't make it easy. So, that was really hard. It actually took me 8 months to be able to breastfeed her without a nipple shield, which I did actually talk about on my page and like the different types of them, because I never even knew anything about it until I had to get one, and I was just like,
A nipple shield? What is that?
so it's basically like this, it's a thin plastic, and it's and it has like a nipple, and it looks like a bottle nipple, and you just like kind of suction cup it over your nipple, and it helps them latch. And if you have like, if you're engorged, you can use a nipple shield, and it slows down the milk so they don't choke on the milk. Or like babies have lip and tongue tie, it makes it harder for them to latch on the food. So nipple shield will help them latch. And two, like if you have real cracked nipples, which in the beginning is common because they're getting used to being tugged on all the time, your breast milk also helps heal the cracked nipples, and using the nipple shield helps give your nipples a little break. Are you done here?
Wow.
He eats a lot.
So I'm like, so with breastfeeding, nursing and pumping. So, yeah, I'm gonna ask this question. I just wrote exclusively. I wrote exclusively nursing and pumping. Yeah, with breastfeeding, is there any stages of how you do the nursing and like the pumps and how you pump?
For me, I produce a lot of breast milk like after the baby is born. So with her, because she was my first and I was learning everything, like so glad I bought my pumps beforehand. And I would actually have to, pump and nurse her at the same time. And I do that like every 2 hours.
Because you had so much.
I had so much milk. And when your breasts get hard, that's like a risk of an engorgement, and it's painful, and you don't want that because you can get an infection called mastitis, and you still got to pump through the mastitis. And if you're like me and you're allergic to penicillin, your level, like the type of antibiotics you can take that are safe for breastfeeding are super, super low. So I was so terrified of mastitis, like I'm like, oh, no, I'm starting to feel a little full, time to get this milk out.
Like,
So-
how do you know, like, when it's full? You just know,
You
right?
feel
It'll hurt?
it, like, yeah, it starts to hurt. It starts to hurt, and you'll probably start to leak, or like it might feel warm to the touch. It'll feel heavy on your chest even when you breathe. So you're like, so that's like when it's really full. But like once you start, you're gonna learn the keys of your body. But your body tells you everything you need to know.
Okay, because I'm over here trying to take notes my damn self.
Well, like, and what's really cool is a lot of insurances, they will give you a free breast pump. You just have to talk to your doctor about it.
So it's really important, like while you're breastfeeding your mother, you know, someone who does breastfeed, it's the self-care, how to, you know, take care of yourself. So for you, self-care, any tips or advice that you...
So what I would do, you need to sleep. And it's so hard to sleep with a baby. And I know people are gonna say sleep when the baby sleeps, but like for real, sleep when your baby sleeps. If you don't get enough sleep, you're not gonna produce enough milk. If you're not drinking enough fluids, you're not gonna produce enough milk. If you're not eating the correct amounts, you're not gonna produce enough milk. With him especially, like he's a big boy. He's little, but he's a big boy. So like 2 weeks ago, one night he just wasn't really feeling well, and I'm not even kidding. He woke up every 30 minutes to eat. So at that point, I'm just sleeping with my boobs out, and he's just on top of me. So when I woke up in the morning, I was starving, like to the point where I almost passed out. That's how hungry I was. They're taking your fat that helps sustain you. So you have to replenish that fat.
Yeah.
When you breastfeed, you burn between 300 to 500 calories a day.
Wow.
It's a lot. And you got to replace those calories. So stay away from the junk food because it's not going to make you feel better. So when you eat healthy, your body feels healthy, your mind feels healthy, and it makes you a better mom.
That's good. You hear that?
Yeah, I'm not
that's
saying
really
like you
good.
can't have your cookies.
Yeah, but just be aware of like how much you're consuming, eating, because you know we all love junk food, but when we do consume too much of it, eat too much of it, you know, we don't feel, you know, we feel shitty at the end of the day, and I think that's really important. You know, watch your portions, how much you're eating, and
make sure you're sleeping and taking that
shower.
Believe we
burn 300, 500 calories breastfeeding.
That's a lot.
Wow.
That's why
breastfeeding is a lot of work, and it's so worth it. Like it really is. Like I'm happy you're here. Like honestly.
Thank you.
It makes me like super excited to breastfeed. Like, and I'm be so annoying too. I'm gonna be taking pictures, posting online, like you know, pouring into breastfeeding. You know, I'm breastfeeding here. All
I have
this
a million
stuff.
pictures of me just breastfeeding her, and then like when my husband was at work, I'm like, she's eating again.
Right, I'm gonna be like that. I'm gonna be encouraging you guys, motivating you guys. So trust it. So watch.
Like,
and then also the self-care, taking care of yourself, and also storing your milk.
So storing your milk is actually pretty easy. There's like different places say different things, but the rule that I go by is 5 hours, 5 days, 5 months. So 5 hours after it's been pumped, it can be sit out at room temperature. 5 days in the fridge, 5 months in the freezer.
Okay, so after we're done, I'm gonna actually write this down because I can remember for myself. 5, 5, 5. I think that's 5 days, 5 hours,
5 months.
5 months. What do you mean, like 5 months?
Like in the freezer that you can, it's still good for baby to consume.
Oh, really?
So even if it's past 5 months, don't throw it out. Put it in your bath. Make some lotion. You can make soap too, actually. I've been wanting to do that. You can even make jewelry out of breast milk. Isn't that crazy? It's amazing.
You can do everything.
Right, you can do everything.
Yes.
Like I want
I'm super
to do that.
excited. Like I'm super excited. Like I'm like, yeah.
Like
but,
a quarter of my fridge is breast
But
milk.
the thing is, like, the thing that I'm trying to understand, you know, how people do extended breastfeeding, like probably like their kids like 5 years old. How long does our milk in our body?
Your milk will cut.
So once you have a kid, it's just forever in your body?
Until you stop. Yeah, when you stop breastfeeding, like you're gonna feel like it's gonna get a little engorged, and then that's why they have these great things called like silicone pumps, and they're called a non-pump because you suction them on. They'll take out the milk, but it's not telling your body, hey, replace it, because there's no suction, and that suction is what mimics them feeding and tells them, oh, hey, you gotta make more milk, replace
So
this
what?
milk.
Okay, now I understand. Because almost like people extended breastfeeding, but you didn't have a kid again, like 5 or 6 years old, you're still breastfeeding. I'm like, how does milk just do that?
It'll as long as there's suction.
Yeah, as long as there's still.
And that milk is coming out, and that suction is the key. Your body will keep making it.
That's cool.
And even after it's been a long time, and let's say you're adopting a baby, you can go to your doctor and they can give you medications to help you start to lactate again. And you can breastfeed your newly adopted baby.
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. Oh my gosh. There's all these amazing facts. All these amazing facts, and everything that we are talking about, you should always do your research and look at articles, journals, stuff by other doctors. If you guys want to know more into this, definitely do your research, because this is freaking amazing.
This is me reading articles from before she was born to today. I read about breastfeeding, and I'm learning new tips from articles and other moms every single day. And we're lucky that we live in a time where we have that technology and that connection.
Girl, amen. I swear. I tell myself literally like 3 times this week, I am so happy I live in generation, this time that I am now, because I couldn't imagine being born 1900s, 1920s, because you got me messed up. What are we going to do? What are we supposed to do? We didn't have no phones. How are we supposed to meet people? We didn't have no map. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have GPSs, we have Google and everything. Like, 1920s, what did you guys do? Like, see, I'm just happy I'm born in generation. We have articles, we have the research, and I'm happy I got my phone, I got a text. I'm happy for all that. YouTube channel, so I'm happy I'm born in generation. Don't regret it at all. But there's wet on topic.
Yes, honey.
But
later, okay?
so with exciting breastfeeding,
Hey, I need you to take a deep breath and count to 4. She's sorry, she didn't take a nap. We're just gonna have to ignore her.
You're good. So with yes. So Claire right now, she's a toddler, terrible twos. It's okay. She's really gorgeous. She's so beautiful.
All toddlers, I know.
Yes. So we're just gonna just talk as loud as we can wherever.
We're not laughing at you, honey.
But extended breastfeeding. Like, how do you feel about that? And what's the good things about extended breastfeeding?
Come on, you need a hug. So extended breastfeeding is basically, some people say it's feeding past 1. Really, it's feeding past 2. I breastfed her till she was 19 months old, and I was 3 months pregnant with him. And the only reason I stopped was because I could not handle that pain, because you're so sensitive. And she just got teeth like not that long ago. She didn't get her first tooth till she was 15 months old, so she's still figuring out her teeth, biting me, and then just the pure exhaustion and weakness of being sick from the pregnancy. And every day I regret stopping it, because I'm like, I miss breastfeeding her. Like, that bond you build with your baby when you breastfeed is unimaginable. And even when you don't breastfeed, but it's just like, when you breastfeed, you're telling, like, hey, my body is your comfort. I'm your comfort blanket. You don't need a blanket, you got me. So, and that's why, like, skin to skin is really important.
The attachment, the trust, the bond.
So when she goes to sleep, her hand's in my boob. And sometimes it does get a little annoying. I'm like, can someone please stop touching me? Like, they're on me, and then of course my husband comes home. He's like, oh, my lovely wife, when you kiss you, let me touch you. So like, sometimes you get a little touched out. Like, please don't touch me for like 5 minutes. But extended breastfeeding is so good, and it continues to boost their brain, give them those fatty acids that they need, those white blood cells boosting their immune system. Bless you, baby. And it helps protect them against allergies, which is, like, honestly, you don't think it's that serious until you stop. She had no allergies. When I stopped breastfeeding her, this girl was allergic to the sun, basically. Everything set off her allergies. So she, unfortunately, had a really hard time of her body adjusting on its own, getting used to not having that extra boost to protect her from allergies. And it just made me feel terrible, that mom guilt. Like, oh, if I just kept breastfeeding her, she wouldn't be irritated by the grass or the season changing. So, like, it just keeps adding on. And then and people think that when you breastfeed your toddler, like, they're not going to be independent. That girl is so independent. It's ridiculous. And when you do that, you teach them their independence, because they know, like, hey, I can go over here, but I can still find my mom.
And plus also, like, when you breastfeed, it's also like independence, also how you raise your kids.
Yeah.
You know, it's also how you raise your kids, and it's
it's
not only just if you breastfeed them past 2 or past 1, they don't have independence. Well, breastfeeding is not what raises your kids.
Right.
You know what I'm trying to say?
It's just
like,
the comfort.
Exactly. It's like it's how you raise your kids and how they're brought up. There's a lot of things like
Yeah.
because like a lot of people do extended breastfeeding, and it's like extended breastfeeding is because like you said, mothers know when it's time.
Your baby
For, you know what I'm saying? Exactly.
Yeah.
She
wasn't ready in her case.
But now,
but she's good.
Yeah.
Like,
so,
she doesn't ask for it. She used to ask after he was born just because he was eating it, and then I'd let her. And she goes like, I don't know how. And I'm like, well, maybe it's not time for you anymore.
So you would know when it's time. So if you are extended breastfeeding yourself, don't ever feel bad, if people out there make fun of you, because, they don't understand. They're not in the place that you are. And you would know when it's time for your baby, what they call it, wean out? Is that what they call it?
Weaning, yes.
Weaning, when you,
Yeah.
you would know. So,
They tell you they don't want it. They reduce, from, regular feedings to only 9 times, only nap, to maybe even once a day. Like, they wean themselves. So,
and I think that's really good.
and it's nice because you can see, your baby's like, hey, I'm getting big. I don't need you as much as I used to.
So this is really so controversial, because a lot of people like to be in people's business and just not mind the business, because that's what the society we live in. But breastfeeding in public, before I say that, because before I even bring that up, first let's talk about fathers and support with breastfeeding.
So people think that breastfeeding is just all on the mom, and it's not. You're the father of your child or your support person, whoever is with you in this child's life, helping you get through it, because you need your support person. Whether you breastfeed, formula feed, whatever, tube feed your baby, however you feed your kid, you have a kid in your life, you need that support person, whether it's your friend, your cousin, your sister, whoever. So when you have that support system, especially when breastfeeding, because so people, did you want to go on the floor or not? I don't know what you want. You just wanted the attention. Okay. So you need, a lot of people feel like they need to tell you how to raise your child or feed your child, or people over-sexualize breastfeeding. There's nothing sexual about it.
Gosh.
There's nothing sexual about it. So this is how I feed my baby. If cows can feed their baby this way, why can't I? It's natural. It's not always easy, but that's the whole purpose of breast. Let's face it.
And breastfeeding, the journey, it's an amazing, but it does, sometimes you have times when you want to give up. It's too much for you.
It is not always easy. So public breastfeeding is also why a lot of moms stop breastfeeding, because even their partners are like, well, don't breastfeed in public. I'm not okay with that. You gotta feed the baby. Baby has to eat.
I really wish. Oh my gosh. So so people are watching. If you do make a big deal for breastfeeding, I really just just be more aware. Ask yourself, why does it matter to you? Why do you care? And if you have a problem with it, just don't watch them breastfeed, or just sit somewhere else. Because how would you like it if you said something so degrading or so low, and that person just stops breastfeeding because they are what you said? That's not right. And if any mothers are watching this and you breastfeed in public and you stop or you want to stop because people are harsh, let me tell you, people are afraid of what they don't understand.
Yeah.
This is your baby, this is your life. Don't let them dictate your life, and don't let them dictate what you want to do. And this world could be so cruel, but don't ever stop. Educate them. Just keep doing what you're doing, because I'm gonna breastfeed, and I know at first I we might be shy and stuff in public, but when you do it more, it's just who gives a f? It's my boob with my baby. He or she is hungry. I gotta do what I gotta do.
And there's covers and stuff, and people are always like, oh, well, why don't you use a cover? And that's okay, well, do you eat with a cover on your head? If that's not comfortable for you or your baby, don't do it.
And it's you're not really seeing the whole boob. It's just the outskirts.
Yeah,
it's not
if you're wearing a tank top.
Yeah.
That's how much boob you see. When they get older, they do stop eating and they look around, so there might be a little nip slip here and there.
But come on,
it's not
how
that
many
big of a
boobs
deal.
and nipples have you seen?
In Illinois, what's
Why
really
do we
great is they're more pro breastfeeding. So you can't get in trouble for breastfeeding, and if your nipple is out because you're breastfeeding, breastfeeding, whether it's you're at a public or private place, like you could be at somebody's house, like they can't really tell you, hey, don't breastfeed in my house. They could just say, I don't want you. If they, you spit up on me. Okay. Wonderful. We're just gonna leave that there. We're not gonna touch it, okay? How that happens. I'll feed him and then I forget and I play too much and he throws up. Sorry, buddy.
I was gonna say, when I went to California last weekend, 2 weekends ago, we had a delay to Texas, and Texas, they had in the airport, they had like breastfeeding like stations that moms could actually go in. Like
they're becoming more friendly about it in the U.S. In the U.K., there's stigma around breastfeeding is not like that. Like they are more pro breastfeeding than the U.S. Like they are with it. So, and Florida was really close. Florida is so with it too. They're like one of the most pro breastfeeding states ever. All right, I don't know what you want. You want attention. And when she was 15 months old and we went down there for a vacation, I was breastfeeding her, and this random woman came up to me and she was like, "You go, mama." And I was just like, "Thank you." Like I almost cried because you don't get that kind of
we need that more, you know, because you never know what that mom is going through, you know, and it's just support can
it is
10 times, you know what I'm saying?
It is everything.
But like support is a good thing when you breastfeed, because we have no idea what their mother's going through when they breastfeed. You have no idea if they got negative, you know, from the media or anything negative. So if you do see someone breastfeeding, you know, tell them like, good job, you know, you're doing it, you know, keep going. Anything that you can say to them, because you never know what they're going through in the tough day or time that they had, you know. But like we talked about, the father's support with breastfeeding.
Yeah.
You have any stories?
I
with
do.
Your amazing husband.
He is wonderful. I love him dearly. So every time I have to eat, it's time for me to eat. He and she was the exact same way. Like the moment I put food in my mouth, they wanted to eat. So if he was still eating, he would stop eating, cut up my food, and feed me while I would feed them. And he still does it to this day. And it's so sweet, and it's just like that simple gesture. Because I'd be like, I'm just so hungry. And he's like, I'll feed you, it's okay. And I'd be like, no, go ahead, eat. And he's like, you're hungry. Let me feed you.
Yeah, I can't tell him nothing. Exactly.
Yeah, like my husband is who pushes the self-care on me. Like I am terrible at putting myself first, because I'm like my kids, my husband, my house. Like that's just how it is for me.
Yeah, and sometimes you forget, like, you know, you're a mother yourself, but sometimes you forget that, you know, you have to, like, love yourself again and do for you, because, you know, you're important and your happiness matters as well. Even though, you know, your husband and your kids are like your happiness, you're happy for them, but you always got to make sure that you feel good inside and outside. You know, how you take care of yourself, no matter if you want a spa day or anything, you know, just alone time within yourself, even just like 30 minutes or an hour, like
10-minute
shower.
shower.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you have a supportive husband and he pushes you and supports you, like, hey, baby, you got to do this for yourself, you know, like, it's okay, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's really amazing if you have a support system by your corner, your husband, boyfriend, fiance, anything, like, as long as you have a good
your cousin,
support
it doesn't
system,
matter.
like, that makes 10 times of a difference. It really, really does.
No, give it back.
Sorry, no. It's fine. So, before we wrap up this amazing video, like, honestly, I feel like we could talk for hours. And
every day.
if, you know, even we could do a part 2 video, I could bring her back here once I have my baby born, and we could, while I'm breastfeeding and stuff, I'm sure I have more questions for her, and we could just be live in actions doing it together. I think that would be really cool. We could do a part 2 breastfeeding or something. We do a video of us breastfeeding in public, video recording it, like, low-key, you know what I'm trying to say? So I think that would be really cool.
Yeah.
I think that, like,
I like that.
I think that would be really cool. We could
I'm
breastfeed
sure
in
he's still
public
gonna
and
be
see people's
breastfeeding.
reaction.
Yeah.
So I think we could do that for part 2, because this was actually a really amazing video. So before we end this video, is there anything that you want to say to them? Anything that you want to say?
I just want to talk a little bit more about Black mothers breastfeeding really quick.
Yeah.
So my great grandmother, she's Black. she didn't breastfeed, and the first time, hey, no. First time she saw anyone breastfeed was me breastfeeding her, and she didn't know anything about that. And honestly, it made me cry, mainly because like it is sad, and two because my body was pumping full of raging hormones. So she's like, I don't know anything about breast milk. Like my mama used formula, I used formula, and I was just like, Granny, what? Like that's crazy. So when like I hear all these women in my family, they're like, I don't know anything about it. Like, so I'm like, it makes me more proud that I'm doing it.
Exactly.
Like I know people look at me, they don't realize that I'm black. They just think that I'm like whiter, Puerto Rican, most of the time. So I'm like, no, like black breastfeeding hits home because it is my home. You know, and then two, something also really cool that I did. So I have twin brothers that will be 2 in June. They look like they could be my kids, honestly. I actually breastfed them. I would drop over like 300 ounces of breast milk for a few months. So I actually would bring breast milk to my baby brothers, and that's how they were breastfed. And my little one of them, he had stomach problems, and he could not like poop. He had a really hard time pooping, so he had like medicine. And my stepmom was like, I don't really like giving to him. He doesn't really help. And I was like, I'll give you breast milk. And she was so happy with the breast milk. Like she's like, he was pooping regular, no problems. Like it worked better than anything. So then I was, you know, and I'm telling you, I was producing pumped. This is just pumped, not even including what he was eating on his own. Over 300 ounces of breast milk a week, because that is, my body's not good at pregnancy, my body's not good at birth, but I can breastfeed.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. This is what you do. This is what you do. You bring awareness. You advocate for others, you know, for breastfeeding, the importance, you know, even the down times. She has an Instagram account that she does all that. So I would say I'll put her Instagram account down below description box, and everything else that she wants me to put on there also. If you guys want to contact her, any questions you have, definitely go to her. She's amazing, and I like to read her posts, be hardened, everything, because it's really, she literally talks about, you know, life as breastfeeding, and even the cons that you have, even how you feel when breastfeeding, you know, when it doesn't latch right, or you feel like, you know, the touching and stuff, you know, she talks about all of that, real life stuff. So I would say follow her page, contact her if you need to. I took a lot from this video. Like I'm super excited because I'm gonna breastfeed, and I'm super excited to breastfeed. I know it's gonna be a journey that it's gonna be worth it. Benefiting my child, benefiting myself as well, and it's just so much that breastfeeding, like so much it does for us. You know, like the mother and the child, and people before us did not even know. They weren't educated. So I just want to thank you. Yes, I want to thank you for doing what you do, being a good mom, having 2 kids, Josiah, Cara, here. Yes, they're beautiful. Honestly, beautiful kids. So thank you for coming here. Yeah.
Too. So to go with your. To go with, like, you know, your whole channel, like living with mental illness and stuff, people think that you cannot take antidepressants and anxiety pills while you breastfeed. That is not true. You tell your doctors, like, I'm breastfeeding, I need help, I have anxiety, I have depression, and they will help you. I myself take Zoloft. I have postpartum depression and PTSD from her, and again postpartum from him, a little bit of PTSD from him as well, and I take Zoloft every day, and it helps me to continue to be this breastfeeding badass that I have become, and this great mom. You're killing me, kid. You're killing me, mom.
Because that's what Clara. So that's what she brought up. I will be talking about all that on my channel once later on in the month and stuff, because all you guys know, I have severe anxiety, I have severe depression, psychosis, hallucination, and let me tell you, I am taking medications. I did stop one. Like I did talk to my psychiatrist, but I am taking medications. I am. So I will talk about all that. And to wrap up this video, if you want, do more research on breastfeeding. If you need any help, contact her. You know, I only know what from doing me, you know, Googling stuff, and then I know majority of stuff from her that I see on her page and stuff. So please, I hope you took a lot from this video. This video was amazing. Thank you, loves, for watching. And if you are a mom breastfeeding, kudos to you. You fucking rock. Don't stop.
Yes.
Don't let society or anyone paint an image in your head. You're doing all that you can do. And the extended breastfeeders, stop when you want to, when the kid wants to. You know when it's right. This is your life. You live for you. Your boobs. You can say whatever you want to do. So, loves, you guys have a good day. Bye.
Bye.
Want to say bye?
Come say bye. Come on, it's your time to be famous.
See, now, look, now she's sitting down. Now she, Clara says bye, too, okay? Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
We dance.